that you're in that mindset of poverty and being, what do you call a child? Like a foster care child, just being real singular in the world, then all your defenses are already up. So there's no way that you can build a healthy relationship. So I think when you are trying to build a relationship with a woman and move the culture forward, you really have to consider not only the mindset that she has, but what's the mindset that you're approaching her with. You know what I'm saying? If I want love, if I want peace and harmony and all the good usual stuff, am I really emitting that? Am I really taking the time to consider and evaluate myself and assess my attitudes? Because even though you may be toxic, if I grew up in a community pool of toxic people, I don't know what's unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know when my attitude is hurtful to you or to myself. I don't know if I'm saying something that's backstabbing you or putting you in a place where you feel lesser than. So it really goes back to, if you can sit with me and hang with me, then why should I be able to sit and hang with you at the same time? What's the love that I'm giving you? What's the self-care that I'm providing you for yourself? You know what I mean? So I think when you identify the core values of what the message is as the movement, then you can move forward and progress into a more sisterhood state of mind.
I like that. That's good. That's good. And it's interesting because all of you are speaking on something that segues us into the next area, which is truth. And so what ends up happening is when we talk about self-love and we talk about self-care, there's a level of truth that has to accompany that. And it is my belief that truth is always accompanied with love. However, that love looks different to each one of us. So if I'm delivering truth to you, you may not receive that in a loving capacity. Out of the capacity of my heart to give you, again, this is what we said earlier, I can only give you and receive based on the level that I can actually understand or comprehend that. And so when you talked about truth, as far as if I want to sit with you and you want to sit with me, who is this? And these are these cliche terms that we tend to use and gravitate towards because it makes sense. It makes sense in our minds because it's the ideal of sisterhood. It's, I want to carry you with me. I want you to come with me. I want you to grow with me. But I want you to do that the way that I want you to do it. I don't want you to do that the way that you want to do it. So how do you deal with when you come into these situations with women where you're delivering a level of truth to them that they're not ready to receive? Do you sit there? Do you dig in? Do you abort the mission? What do you do? Because what happens a lot of times, and I know that this is an experience that many have, some of you grew up with people. Some of you have come from the same neighborhoods. Some of you come from the same women. Some of you have close relationships with other women, and you feel obligated to them because of the amount of time that you've invested with them. You know their hurts, you know their struggles, you know what they've been through. But there is a certain thing that sometimes we grow apart. Sometimes we grow into situations where we're no longer good for one another. And whether that's because I'm enabling you or whether it's because you're enabling me. So when you meet this and you have this, if there's a woman that is going through that, how would you approach that situation with her? Because somebody's going to feel betrayed.
So I'll start. So I'll look at it from two perspectives of being a person on the side of somebody trying to tell me what their truth looked like for me and me not wanting to receive it. And me having to have my own experiences in the space to learn. So there's nothing at certain points, I think over periods of my life where somebody may have had an opinion and they probably were right. You should not be doing X, Y, Z. You should not be with that person that you were holding on so dearly to. You're smarter than this. You're better than this. You should do blah, blah, blah. So I've been on the other side of that and having the experience of that. What I've learned over time is what I felt like in that moment, which is just don't judge me. Let me be who I am, love me for who I am, take me as I am. Kind of to your point, don't bring to me what your perception of what you think I should have. And it's hard when you love people, they want to help you and they want to say, but don't you see? No, I don't see. Or even if I do, I don't tend to want to do anything about that right now. And so I think from being on both sides of that before, and we all have, that you think about giving people the respect and the space. I call it giving people grace. Give people the space and the grace to have their own experiences. They will end up where they need to be one way or another. And your opinion is your opinion, and it doesn't mean that it drives anything for someone else other than you have an opinion. And so I really think it's about giving people grace and allowing for them to have their own experiences, because nothing nobody says, no matter what we say today, no matter what we talk about in here, nothing that we say will take the place of your own experience.
I think in that too, support. Being able to give them grace, but being able to be there as someone who supports them, regardless of how the situation turns out, regardless of how the situation is going. Being there as that supportive person, being there when it all gets bad, and being able to talk with them. Not the whole "I told you so," you didn't, I tried to give you the warning, because that doesn't necessarily help. But when we're there in that supportive place with them, having given them that grace, and then being there and meeting them in that place that they are, and being able to provide that support that they need, that encouragement, that love that they're looking for, and that they're needing at that point to be able to carry them through is so important. And so that's kind of what when I heard you talking, I kept hearing that, meeting them where they are, and giving them that support, being able to provide that love, sometimes even from afar, even just one phone call, whatever it takes, but just being there for them in that moment.